the Red Doggy and Rams.
My name is Francisco Pelayo. I'm majoring in business administration, econ, and I'm hoping to go to law school for child advocacy. Say that FCC chose me. I didn't have much of an option to go to any of the higher colleges like CSUs or UCs. I didn't have the right GPA. I didn't have the right background, so Fresno City College was kind of like the place for me. Fresno City College, as mentioned, it gave me a second opportunity, gave me that second chance to be able to prove myself, and it's just as intense as I believe as any CSU, UC. The professors aren't easy. The curriculum is tough. I really love its diversity. I love it being so different. I love it that it's a nonprofit. Don't just come to school and take your classes and go home. I know that's kind of what the thing is to do here, but if you can, get involved either with the club, special service, so you can get to know, be more familiar with the programs that are available here for you. You can get to know people, so school isn't so lonely, since I had a little bit of experience with that. Another tip I could give is make friends with the counselor. Get to know your counselor, talk to your counselor. They really are here for you. They know the ins and outs of college, the shortcuts. They just make your experience here at Fresno City College and your whole transition to a four-year university, if that's your plan, so much smoother. So again, don't just come to class. It gets pretty boring. Join a club. Join a special service and get to know your staff and counselor.
Hi, I'm Adriana Mendoza and my major is nursing. I chose FCC because it has a great campus full of great professors and a great campus community. FCC was a good fit for me because it made me grow cognitively, showed me a lot of tips on how to be successful as a student. I love the free resources, which are tutoring, free printing in the library. Use the free resources that are available on campus. Going to counselors, going to the library, tutoring, using ETC for certain classes too.
The reason why I chose FCC is because, I stay in Fresno, and because my brother and a few of his friends went to Fresno City College, and they said that there's a lot of teachers that care, counselors. It made me feel good about myself, knowing that every day I come here, I'm actually putting something into my life, and there's a lot of people helping me do it. Student activities building, where we have the pool hall, we have the student lounge, where you can just lounge out, kick back. We also have our clubs when they do their club rush, where they try to recruit for their clubs and give information, and they also cook good food. 2 tips. 1, go to the tutoring center. Just go. That's gonna be your whole success when you're in college. You gotta go to the tutoring center, and you just have to put at least 2 hours a day of doing some homework. Because if you're not even gonna put at least 2 hours, then how are you gonna make it in college? So always go to the tutoring center. The other tip would be, you gotta make friends. You gotta get out there. You gotta get out of your comfort zone. How are you gonna graduate after you leave Fresno City and go to another college or university? Or if you just go to Fresno City and you just get like a certificate or the associate's degree, you need to network, you need to know people. And at the end of the day, knowing people gets you out in the real world so that you can one day have a good job, make a lot of money, and you can be doing the things that you want in your life. College isn't just about academics and just doing your homework. Really what it is that you have to network. You have to get out with, when you meet people and network, that you're going to feel good about yourself and you're getting out of your comfort zone. If you take risks in life, and at the end of the day, you get that good job, you'll be able to do what you want, travel the world, and just be happy in your life.
My name is Destiny White, and I am currently majoring in psychology. I chose FCC because I hadn't been in school since I graduated for about 2 years, and I didn't think my chances at a university were very likely, but lots of my friends went to FCC and they loved it. My family went to FCC and they loved it, so I thought, why not try it? It doesn't feel like that much of a pressure as you would expect at a university. Not to mention, all the teachers here are so nice and they provide so many resources, and each time I've gone to those resources, I've received nothing but help and a kind year and tons of support. On my first semester here, I was set up as a business major, and then my spring semester, I kind of sat there and was like, I don't want to be a business major. So I talked around to a few people and they suggested going to the Career Center, where not only did my career counselor give me all the information I needed, he genuinely was interested in what I chose. What's an amazing thing I love about FCC is the teachers. So many teachers I've had this semester and last semester, they've just been over the moon outstanding for me and so nice. And honestly, I don't have good connections with teachers that often, so to have good connections with all my teachers makes me very happy. Never be afraid to ask for help, because honestly, everyone that I've talked to, they've been so kind and supportive, and I've never been told to not go after what I'm trying to get. And another tip would be to just not be afraid to get out there and volunteer for stuff you think that you wouldn't like to do, because it's going to help you push yourself and you never know what you might like in the end.
My name is Malik Evans. I'm a bio major at Fresno City. I do track and field. Things I like about City is the people that go here. Got all the homies here. Got some good people here. All the programs such as ESPS, Ideally. I also work here. Also, I work in a PASS center, so that makes me kind of love it a little bit more since they want to give me a job. PASS program is a program to where it's for English, linguistics, EMLS, American Sign Language, but there's also tutors in there to help you through the placement tests, English, essays.
My name is Charles Graves, and I'm going for my associate's degree in the HVAC industry. I was tired of doing construction, did construction most of my life, wanted a new career. Fresno City's close by. They offered programs that I'm interested in. Very reasonable. I love the campus. I love the faculty here. I love my instructor very much. It's just worked out great for me. My instructor really has a big influence on me being here. At my age, I'm 50 years old. He talked me into going back to school. He's had the biggest influence, I could say, here. But the whole staff's here. I love being back in school. I love the old campus. It's historic. I love the library especially. I love going in there. They offer, all their programs are just as well. I know the education they offer here is just as good as a big DC college. Second of all, the diversity here is awesome. Everybody here is after the same thing, I would have to say. From my experience.
My name's Amelia, and I'm an early education major. I chose Fresno City College because it's convenient for me, it's a nice environment, and it's a nice campus. Fresno City College is a good fit for me because it's right down the street. I'm with people that I know, and it offers the best classes. The thing I love most about FCC is the professors. They're really helpful and they let me get through the classes as best as I can. They're always making sure I'm on track. They always make sure I understand the material as best as I can. And if there's anything that comes up, they'll let me either take the test or redo homework at another date. I've always had good experiences. 2 tips for new students: keep up on your homework, don't fall behind, and get involved. I feel like it's more fun when you do something you love versus just staying strictly to your classes. Make friends, because friends will keep you going in class. The wind ensemble here. So when I'm not doing wind ensemble on campus, I do wind ensemble back at home. I'm a flute player. I've been playing since 6th grade. It's kind of like my heart. I love that thing. The Fresno City Wind Ensemble, and then I play in Reedley at their community band. The wind ensemble here is great. Our director is Elisha Wilson, and she's such a sweetie. We do 2 concerts a semester on campus, and last semester we traveled to San Francisco. So it's a really good experience, really fun. She paid for everything, so it's perfect. There's this piece called Firebird. It's in Fantasia 2000, I believe. It's beautiful. It's a story about rebirth and gorgeous, gorgeous piece.
My name is Camille Miley, and I'm a business major. Fresno City College is one of the first colleges in California, and it's a beautiful campus here, so it was a pretty easy choice to make. It has exactly like what I want to study. I want to go in between accounting and finance, so there's a lot of great instructors here. The program is a 25-month business program here, and they lay out all the classes you need to get the ADT, so the automatic transfer into CSU, so that's exactly what I want. So. The one thing I love about FCC is how much the faculty and staff is committed to the students and how much resources are available on campus. One major tip I would give would be for the bookstore. The earlier you can get your books, the better. That's definitely will save you a lot of time in waiting in line. Also, I would definitely take advantage of the student activities in the student lounge right next to the cafeteria. It's like the living room of the campus. You can hang out, you can do your homework. They give you access to a lot of free stuff and free food on campus. It's a really great place to hang out and awesome staff there too. I'm a part of Federal Work Study, and that means I work on campus as a student aide at student activities. What that means is we basically provide customer service to any student or any faculty that's lost. They need directions, they want to get their student ID, they're looking for discounts, they're looking for just a place to hang out, they're looking for resources to come and do their homework, a computer lab, to print out homework. We're there Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday, we're open from 8 to 5, and Fridays from 8 to 3. Since I work for student activities, I basically am a part of every single club. We help with Club Rush. We do have a Club Rush coming up. I'm not sure when, but another tip I could give you is for parking. Definitely come as early as you can for parking. Sometimes in the beginning, an hour just isn't enough, so the earlier the better for parking.
Hey, my name is Duran Walker, and my major is computer science. I chose FCC because they were the first community college, and I've actually visited the campus a few times before, and I just thought it was a really good environment, and I always wanted to go to FCC. I'd say FCC is really good for everybody, I think, because it's very diverse here, and there's just all types of, different things for everyone to do, with our clubs. There's like a club for each type of nationality, and not only that, you could actually start up a club on your own if you want to. It's not that hard, actually. You can contact the Fresno City Student Activities Office, and they'll be more than happy to give you all the club packet information, and there is a deadline to turn in your club recognition packet. I say the most thing that I love about FCC is the fact that it's encouraged me to want to grow and see myself for who I really am, because I just always see myself.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Let me hear that one more time. Good morning, everyone. There we go. It is bright and early, and we are going to get started shortly. We're still waiting for a few more students to come in. You all can chit-chat for a little bit longer. And once we get started, we have some special guests to welcome you as well. We have our VPs of the college here, and I'll be introducing all of them to you. And of course, we'll have our special speakers talk to you about some resources here at Fresno City College. But in the meantime, like I said, you can continue chatting. We're going to get all of the rest of the students in, and then we'll get started. Okay, I think everybody's in here now. Thank you for your patience. I know we're starting a little bit late. We appreciate all of your attendance here this morning. Again, good morning to you all. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started this morning. But before we do, I would like to thank and welcome our VPs of the college. Our first one is Don Lopez, VP of Instruction. Our next VP is our VP of Student Services, and that is Dr. Hall. Excuse me, Dr. Lataria Hall. And our next VP is our VP of Admin Services, and that is Omar Gutierrez in the back. Thank you for joining us this morning, VPs. For your first speaker and your welcome, I would like to introduce the President of our college, Dr. Robert Pimentel.
Is that one working, Nick? Nick? Okay, all right. I'm gonna start. No more. It doesn't work. It works? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Pimentel, and I'm your president. I wanted to be here today to welcome you all to Fresno City College, the largest community college in our region and the oldest community college in the state. I don't know if you guys knew that, but Fresno City College is actually the first community college to exist in California. So we're the oldest, 112 years now or something like that. So you are, if you hadn't been here before, you probably saw the beautiful buildings and you know how easy it is for you to get lost. This is why you're going to be here today with a lot of our folks that are going to be guiding you and giving you a campus tour so that you could really figure out where all the resources are. But more important of all, I want to make sure that all of you are aware that the faculty here, the staff, the administrators are here to support you, and we want to make sure that you're successful. A lot of you are recently graduated from high school, and we're super excited to have you here. 2019, when the pandemic hit, we lost a lot of the population that is here today, and that's why we're so excited to see all of you here today. We have over 700 people registered to be here today. This college, prior to the pandemic, was serving about 24,000 students. So it's a large institution, and there's a lot of things happening here all the time. So I encourage you to stay engaged, stay involved. We have 21 athletic teams. If you get some time, go out there, go watch them play. You know, not to brag, but a lot of our teams are championship teams. We have championship volleyball, football, basketball, you name it. So it's a good opportunity for you to go out there and meet some people. Stay engaged on campus. We also have services in our career services, which you'll probably hear about later on. Some of you need to work or are working. I encourage you to get a job on campus and stay here so that we could support you and we could help you through your classes. Visit the center. That's very important. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, some of your classes will be very hard, and that's just the way it is. You know, you're in college now, so. Math, English, those are the subjects that seem to throw our students off sometimes, but we have a ton of tutors. We have over 400 tutors that we hire every year so that everyone that needs tutorial services could get a tutor. You'll be visiting the library, you'll know where those are at, so you could have those services available to you. There's a vast amount of services here for you to be successful, and we want to make sure that you know and learn about those services today. But I'm really, really excited to be here. I am the new president, so I've been here for a month. And I mean, I've been here for about 4 years as a vice president, but in the new role, I've been here for a month. So this is all new to me, as probably college is new to you. And you know, I'm just trying to make my rounds and trying to make sure that I make everybody feel welcome. And everybody's been super welcoming to me. The staff, the faculty here have been incredible in the journey that it took for me to be here. But I'm here for the staff and the faculty and administrators to support them, to make sure they support you. So anything that we could do to make sure that we support you. Please don't hesitate to ask. Today you will figure out where to go if you need to ask for help. And so that's the message that I wanted to give today is please ask for help if you need help. We don't want you to leave us. If you feel like dropping out for whatever reason, because you want to get a job or because whatever barriers are in your way, make sure that you ask for help before you do that. And if you're registered for less than 15 units, let's see how close we can get you to those 15 units, because we want you to be gone. We love you, but we want you to be gone in 2 years because we need you to graduate. So with that, I've been asked to stand in the front so I could take a picture because all of you look so great. So we're gonna take a picture with all of you. So the photographer here will prompt you to do something. I don't know what, but thank you very much.
Could I get college relations staff up here as well, college relations? And if everybody in the auditorium can stand up as well so we can take this picture. College relations, if you can come on up to the front.
Wait. Oh, couple more people. Hey, Chris, can we get the house lights a little? There we go. Right over here. Hey, 3, 4, maybe about 20. You guys are beautiful. All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pimentel, for the welcome. And we are going to begin our presentation. The one thing I forgot to do, a couple of things, introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Lucio. I'm the Interim Director of Outreach, Onboarding, and Student Engagement. I also want to address all of those that are on the I think it's live stream, YouTube we might be on. We appreciate your attendance, and we have a lot of online engagement for you as well. Let's go ahead and get this presentation started. And our first speaker today is our counselor in college relations and outreach counselor. Her name is Lauren Cruz.
This is on? Yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Cruz. I'm a counselor, like Nick said, in college relations. We are so excited to see so many of you here in person. And then hello to all of those who are joining us on the live stream. And then a big welcome to our guests that we have here to support you today. So we do have a lot of information that we will be going over, but it's to ensure that you're going to be prepared and confident for your first semester at Fresno City College. Okay? So first off, we want to start off with our motto. So our motto here, hold on. Okay, no? Okay, is start strong, stay strong, finish strong. So we're going to focus on the start strong today. And what exactly do we mean by that? Well, the fact that you're here, you're already starting off on the right foot. But it also includes you going to your classes, getting involved on campus, and utilizing all the resources that we have available to you. So because most of you are first-time college students, that's what we're really focusing on, is getting you ready to start strong with us. Okay, so a little bit of how today is gonna go. So you'll be hearing from presenters who will answer some questions you may have, such as, where do I go? What am I gonna need? And how do I stay on track? They'll also be letting you know about some support services that are available to you, and then giving you some student success tips. You will all have the opportunity to go on a campus tour and meet your pathway team. Your pathway team includes deans, instructors, counselors, and support staff that will be helping you throughout your entire time at Fresno City College. So it's really good to get to know them. To my guests that are here with us, you will be remaining in the auditorium while the students are on the campus tour. And you'll be receiving a presentation on how to better support our students during their first semester. After those, we will come back together and there will be a resource fair that you will be able to get some refreshments and that you get your Fresno City College swag bag. Okay? So we're really excited to have you. Thank you again for being here. And there's a lot of people that are here to help you. So please take advantage of that, get your questions answered, and be ready for the semester that starts on Monday, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Noel, and he's gonna go ahead and continue with the presentation. Thank you.
All right, Lauren. Looky, full house. I'll make sure to upload that photo that we took on my Facebook so y'all can see it. Wait, I've been Facebook sober for 15 years, so we'll probably upload it on IG. That's short for Instagram, and that's just me being cool. So if you want to follow us, Fresno City College Instagram, we have all kinds of pictures. So thank you, Lauren. She's here all day, folks. I'm going to be going over, let's see, where are we? Where do I go? Like Lauren had mentioned, you guys know and understand that the semester begins next week, Monday, right? Summer, how many of you for summer went super fast? Went too fast for me. Again, my name is Noel Quintero. I'm one of the counselors for Fresno City College. Some of you might recognize me. I did go to your actual high school. Majority of you are incoming freshmen graduating from high school. So today's purpose is to find out where you're going. So in case you didn't know, parking is free for this semester. Not only that, they seem happy. Parking will also be free for the spring of 2023. Okay, there we go. Give that person a chocolate. So, for those of you who are attending in person, some of you will be attending face-to-face courses, online courses, and some of you will be taking hybrid courses. But for now, if you remember, Dr. Pimentel, the president of our college, had mentioned we are over 100-year-old college. Well, what does that mean? It means that we've out-resourced our space. So we brought to you a parking structure that's located over there on Blackstone and Weldon. It's gonna open next month, September. We were hoping it would be open this month, but unfortunately, we had a little delay, but nonetheless, we're gonna have a parking structure for you. And remember, it's free for this semester and free for the next year for the spring semester. So if we wanna make sure that you guys plan ahead, some of you may be commuting from outside of Fresno. How many of you guys are coming from, are there any Fireball people? Mendota, Selma, Kerman, anybody? I see some hands there, wonderful, thank you for coming. I appreciate that, you're here, awesome. So the parking garage is coming soon. For the first 3 weeks of the semester, okay, the semester will begin on August 8th, which is next week, Monday. For the first 3 weeks after that, we will have a shuttle service around the whole entire campus. So today you're gonna have an opportunity to go and take a tour of our campus. But remember that parking is, you have to make sure that you do not park where the staff parking will. There's a lot of signage going around, so you can't just randomly park anywhere you want. Also, outside of our campus, I remember when I was attending community college and Fresno State, I pride myself in not ever buying a parking pass because I was poor, just like many of you. So some of you will park around the neighborhoods. However, there are several neighborhoods around our campus right here on Van Ness that does have signage in terms of not parking because you will be towed and or you will be ticketed. So keep in mind that you have all sorts of parking lots around, and come September, you'll have your parking structure. Let's see here, where are we? Whoops. So construction, there is construction currently going on right now on Blackstone and Weldon. For those of you that are coming on this side of the 41, depending on where you come, just make sure that you plan ahead. Okay, how many of you are taking 7 a.m. courses that begin at 7 a.m.? That's brave. How many are you taking prime time courses? These are the times that come in at 8, 9, 10. Those are my favorite, right? Because you're rolling out of bed, you get ready, you eat breakfast, and then you come on over. Some of you taking afternoon courses or evening courses. Great. So the parking will become a little bit more alleviated. You will know that the first 2 weeks, it's going to become a struggle or a hassle. But make sure that you plan ahead so you guys can come in on time for your classes, okay? Some of the types of courses, like I mentioned before, you will be taking in-person courses. You will be taking hybrid courses, online courses, and I will describe to you as to what synchronous and asynchronous is. So I was a traditional student. I needed to be in class, in front of the classrooms for me to pay attention. How many of you taking in-person courses? A great deal of you. Wonderful. Make sure that you attend the first day of school, because if you don't, you could jeopardize you could be dropped. And we want to make sure that you are here, okay? So in person, if you check your schedule, you could access that through your student portal, or you could go, once we have time, once we alleviate you guys, you could go to the web room and you could print out your schedule, or you could access it through your smartphone or your mobile device. So the in-person classrooms will have the actual designated time, the dates, and the location. And I believe that every single one of you received a folder, and if you look in the back of the folder, there's a map there, okay? There's a map in order for you to know exactly where you're at. Right now, everybody's in the OAB building, okay? We're in the OAB building, Old Administration Building. This is a historic building as well. So the hybrid courses, on your schedule, it'll tell you the time that you need to show up in person. Remember, hybrid is 50% online and 50% in person. So you're gonna be doing both of those. So your schedule should designate the time that you should be in class while attending in person in campus. How many of you taking online courses? Oh, just a couple. We opened up a great deal of online courses because of the pandemic. A lot of our students migrated over to online because of the pandemic. So on your online schedule, it tells you if you are taking a synchronous course is basically a course that has a designated time and date, okay? That's when you're gonna go in front of a computer Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays from 9 to 10. So it has a designated date in terms of where you need to be in front of your computer, whether it be at home, at a Starbucks, whatever the case is. Synchronous courses should have that labeled on your schedule. Asynchronous, think about that as you're doing it on your own time. You still have to check Canvas for any information that your instructor will give you, but nonetheless, the information will be there, okay? So some of you may be taking synchronous courses, asynchronous, in person, whatever the case is. We have all the tools here so you could be successful. Let's see where we're at now. Campus map. Again, you have it in the back of your folder, but we have these, while you're on campus, we wanna make sure that you utilize this. You could also ask a person that's walking down and say, hey, where's the health sciences building? If you're asking somebody where the health sciences building and you're here, they're gonna tell you it's on the other side of the tracks, okay? Some of you are nursing majors, some of you are pre-allied health majors, so some of your courses will be designated at certain areas, but keep in mind that these maps are at each focal point around our campus. So if you are taking a course in the health sciences building and then you have to come all the way to the OAB building, we don't want you to drive your car and then park it over here. Remember that the first 3 weeks we have shuttle service. Okay, the first 3 weeks we have a shuttle service. So these picking up, there's gonna be designated areas where the shuttle service will come and pick you up. And they rotate every 10 to 15 minutes. So take advantage of that. All right, this is my favorite slide. We're gonna be talking to you about where to find food. You could visit, these are several spots that you could visit on campus. We have what's called the Fresh Seasons Cafe. That's located in the cafeteria. So if you have that 7 a.m. course, that 8 a.m. course, they actually have hot food where you can pick up breakfast. It's a grab-and-go snacks, sodas, pizzas, and other stuff that you can pick up. We also have food trucks, okay? They will be located in the small fountain and in the big fountain and in the health sciences. So these food trucks consist of, we have like wings, there's a food truck that's a lot of Mexican food, taquerias, and then the Ram Pantry. Check this out, folks. The Ram Pantry, if you don't have no money to go buy food in these food trucks or in the Fresh Seasons Cafe, the Ram Pantry is there for you and it's free. Okay, this is where you could go and get food. All you need to do is use your student ID number and you could get food that you could take to you for you and your family. So please utilize these food options. and let me know. I'll go with you. You're embarrassed? I'll go with you, and I'll make sure to point at as to what I want, so you can get me something too. Okay? All right. So now that we've covered where to go, parking, courses, food options, I'm going to turn it over to our counselor, Peter. He's going to talk to you about how to stay strong in this semester. Thank you, folks.
Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Noel. My name is Peter Vang. I am a counselor here within College Relations. So, what do I need, right? A lot of students ask, and you guys might be thinking, what does this mean? So, pretty much, what do I need is going to cover a variety of things in order to help you stay strong, like what Noel said. First thing, as many of you guys know, State Center Community College District has a vaccine mandate, right? All students now can take in-person classes, regardless if you are vaccinated or not. These are the two things you must do, one or the other. So the first one, you can upload a proof of COVID-19 vaccine, and that means 2 shots. So make sure it's a 2-shot. You can upload that or test twice a week. So you don't have to be vaccinated. As long as you test twice a week, you are eligible to take in-person classes. The room is going to be located in this building in room 144. So OAB 144, that's where you can test twice a week. Next thing I want to cover is My Portal. So a lot of you guys may have used this already to register your classes, right? There are a few things that I would like to go over so that it will make your life very easier. First thing is learning how to use some of the software stuff we have for students. Free stuff as well, like Microsoft Office 365. That's the main one I want to cover for now. It's going to have Excel, Word, PowerPoint. So all these are free, accessible for all students. As long as you are a student, you do not have to buy it. All you need to do is log into your account, and you can utilize those resources. The next thing that I would like to go over is OneDrive. That's also one of the free software systems we have in your portal. That's where you can save, upload all your materials, so that in case if your laptops are full of memory, so you can utilize that. Also, don't miss out on the virtual My Portal workshop that we are doing this Thursday as well for students who may have missed this. Self-service is also another system that we use as well. Many of you guys have either used this or the previous system. So remember when we came out to the high schools and we were kind of guiding guys through the process, that was the old system. Now we're using self-service. It's a lot easier, a lot friendlier, a lot smoother than the other one. The other one's kind of clunky, but this one is really smooth and easy for students to understand. This is also where you can check your financial aid. So if you have questions like, hey, am I going to receive anything for financial aid this year? This is where you want to go. If you guys are wondering, hey, am I going to have to pay for tuition or anything like that, you can check here as well. You can check your grades. You can request for transcripts on here as well. So self-service is gonna cover a variety of things. And also, I believe this is also where you can request, you can check, you can upload your bank statements, stuff like that in terms of like getting direct deposit for financial aid. And last but not least, sign up for emergency text. I have that as well. You get like something's going on, you get an automatic text. You can either get a text or email, whatever your preference is. So, but definitely sign up for that. Canvas. I want to go over this next part. Many of you guys probably seen this already. I like to use the example. Canvas is kind of like your virtual classroom in a way. So anything, any homework, tests, all of that is going to be on Canvas. If you are planning on taking online classes, especially, utilize Canvas. Canvas is where your instructor is going to have tests, homework, quiz, sometimes discussion boards and all of that good stuff. So it's gonna cover all of that. Definitely utilize this. Virtual hub for students as well. So in case if you need to utilize any of the tools for, again, PowerPoint, stuff like that, go on Canvas, you can definitely do that. And last but not least, download the app. So if you're like me, where sometimes you don't want to turn on the laptop, you don't want to turn on the computer, you download it onto your phone or smart device. You can definitely use that. So it is compatible with like Android stuff, iPad, and all that good stuff. So you don't really need a computer per se. Textbook and materials. So we do have textbooks and materials on campus. You can visit the bookstore after this, or you can do it online as well. So we do have our online textbook. You can locate this through your class schedule. Go on Canvas, look in your class. It's gonna have all of that information on there. So my bookstore in Canvas, that's a big thing. I usually try to inform my students that, hey, go on there if you're wondering what kind of book you need, it's on there. Check it out. You can purchase new book, used book, or you can rent it out as well. So there's many ways to utilizing this. And also, before I close this, I would like to say that, yeah, you can also utilize, I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? No, you covered that already. But yeah, so you can always utilize that textbook. Oh, and also one last thing, no textbook cost. So within self-service and Canvas, usually if instructors, they're utilizing open educational resource, it means that you're not gonna have to pay for certain classes textbooks. So it just depends on the class. A lot of our classes do have a no fee for textbooks. So open that up and check that out as well. And next, I'll give it back to Noel.
Thank you, Peter. So now we're gonna go over the resources in terms of making sure that you utilize those, okay? There's no reason as to why you shouldn't be successful. We have everything here at Fresno City College so it can make it a smooth transition while you attend Fresno City College. So, library resources and service. We're gonna be talking about tech checkout, textbook reserve, printing and copying, the computer labs that are all over Fresno City College campus, but specifically in the library, research assistance program, and you can meet with a librarian to help you with your research assistance. So, as you know, when everybody thinks about the library, it's that place where they lock up the books. It's just not that. We also, because of the pandemic, we knew and understood that majority of our students don't have access to online. They don't have access to an actual laptop or a computer. Well, guess what? If you are having issues in terms of purchasing a computer, a laptop, well, you could check that out in the library. You could check out a MiFi, you could check out a graphing calculator, a laptop, or a tablet. And this is for you. You could check it out think about it as a loan for the whole entire semester. You just gotta make sure that you have an actual schedule and an actual ID, and then we check it out and you could use it for the whole entire semester. So again, we have those resources available. You just have to make sure that you utilize them, okay? And the library is not just a spot where you could go and study. You know, you got to make sure that you also use other computer labs. We also have a computer lab in there. We have a computer lab in the student services building. We have a computer lab in the business division. We have all sorts of different labs depending on where your classes are at. Textbook, you can check out a textbook for the day, but you can't take it with you. So if you are taking courses such as biology, English, math, whatever subject you are taking, you can check out a book for the day if you're having issues. You can also print, okay? Printing and copying is free for the first 25 pages, but keep in mind, you know, you gotta make sure that you're on top of your things, you check Canvas, you're checking your email, you're making sure that you're turning in your assignments, and all these resources are there in the library so you can print out your papers and so forth. For the research assistants, we have librarians who rap. They're not rappers per se, you know, they're not speaking on the mic and so forth, but it's a research assistance program for you. Many of you are going to be taking English your first semester, depending on what your major is. Some of us advise you to take math first, and that's perfectly fine. But for those who are taking English, that English course is going to help you write term papers for your psychology course, for your sociology course, for any other course that you may need assistance for. So take advantage of these resources in the library. Student support services, we have tutoring services. Like if you remember, Dr. Pimentel had mentioned that we hired 400 tutors. Okay, so we have tutors for those of you that struggled with math like I did. It's not just math and English. We also have other subjects such as biology, calculus, any subject that you are having issues with, we'll butt you up with a tutor so you could be successful. Career Employment Center and the Dream Center. For the Career Employment Center, some of you are pursuing perhaps a vocational trade like automotive technology and or HVAC or welding, police academy. Whatever you are pursuing, keep in mind that some of you may not want to transfer to a four-year school, although some of you may want to transfer to a four-year school, depending on what your career goal is. But for those who are interested in, getting assistance on learning how to write a resume, job searching skills, or taking an assessment in terms of what you could possibly be good at in the future, visit our Career and Employment Center, okay? They'll give you leads in terms of finding a job while attending school, because some of you already are going to be working, whether it be full-time or part-time. The Career Employment Center will give you that access so you could, get a little bit ahead of the game in terms of finding a job that could potentially be flexible with your work schedule, your school schedule. And also we have the Dream Center that's been open since 2015. In case you're probably thinking about it, it's not a place where you could go and sleep. The Dream Center is basically a safe haven for our undocumented students, okay? This is where we have counselors there that can assist you in helping you fill out what's called the AB 504 form. This is for undocumented students. Any students who are receiving DACA and or if you guys are Dreamers. So DACA recipients, Dreamers, they're used synonymous here in this college. But if you are a student whose residency is questionable, if you are undocumented, I know that a lot of our students are in the shadows. These are students who are just like any other student, but their immigration status is a little questionable. We have the Dream Center there readily available to assist you with any scholarships, to fill out the California Dream Act, and these are some of the services we have. Childcare and lactation room. We also have a child development center. This is where, some of you may be young parents. Please utilize this. There is a requirement. There is a specific application that you have to fill out. The ages are between 2 and 5 for childcare. Lactation room, moms, we have you covered. You just have to pick up the key in one of our, an OAB 161, and the room will be in 139 for those mothers who are currently nursing. So if you happen to have a child between the ages of 2 and 5, check out these resources, okay? I know it's gonna be tough for those who are young parents. You're gonna be juggling both school and life, right? There's a little thing called life, it gets in the way. But nonetheless, we have these resources for you. And also our campus safety. If you have a second, pull out your smartphone and take an image of the phone number. We want to make sure that safety is our priority. We have our police department who's currently patrolling our campus. So if you ever feel unsafe, you could always give these folks a call. Take a picture of it. You might need it. We also have, emergency. These little yellow posts with blue lights on them. It's basically for emergency scenarios. We hope it never comes to that. We do live in a weird world right now in terms of what's happening in our country, but we just want to make sure that you feel safe. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over to Marquisha. I know this is a lot of information. I want to make sure that we thank you. Just keep in tune. There's more information coming over. So Marquisha is going to talk about you on how to get involved.
Thank you, Noel. Hi, everyone. I'm Marquisha. I'm an outreach specialist in college relations. So I'm super excited to talk to you all about how you can get involved on campus. So college life is more than just academics, right? It's about getting involved, meeting new people, and also just feeling connected to our campus. So if you're someone who likes to get involved, our student activities office is the place to go. Oh, I forgot the clicker. So student activities. So our student activities office currently houses all of our active clubs. So we currently have about 20 active clubs on campus. So we have a volunteer club, creative writing club, Asian American club. We have such a variety. And if there is a club that you aren't interested in, you can literally start your own club, which is super cool, right? We also have our Associated Student Government our Associated Student Government. So this is where if you like to be involved on campus, you like to lead, you like to be a part of creating processes and making decisions, you can literally join our student body government. So we also have our Associated Student Body ID card. So our ID card is basically what you buy. Basically, it's your ID card, right? It costs $5. It comes with perks. So you're able to get a free barbecue lunch. You're able to have local discounts, and you can also basically just have any discount around campus and also in our community. Excuse me. So another way to get involved on campus is to attend our sporting events. We have wrestling events, we have football games, we have basketball games, we have soccer games. So that's a great way to get involved on campus. We also have our career and major fairs that you can also attend. We also have music and theater events where you can attend music productions, dance recitals, plays. We also have community events where you can get involved in our Asian Fest on campus, and we have so many more cultural events. So I'm going to pass it over to Ku, who is going to talk about how you can stay on track. Thank you.
I think too short. I'm going to do this. All right, so thank you, Markeisha. My name is Kuhn. I'm one of the counselors with College Relations. And so I'm going to go over on how to stay on track. As a counselor, we want to make sure that our students are doing their best here at Fresno City College. And so one of the first things I do want to emphasize is to practice time management. Okay, so again, time management will allow you to basically, for you to practice like how long it takes you to get to and from school, to go to your next destination, whether that's, going to work or doing anything like your errands or just being with family. So we definitely want to make sure that you are creating your schedules and sticking to it and then making adjustments as needed. And then, of course, if ever you feel that you are struggling in a class, make the time to attend your office hours with the professors. So again, each class that you're enrolled in, your professor has dedicated specific times to meet with students to assist you with any questions that you have. So definitely take advantage of the office hours as your professors are here to assist you. And then another thing is your deadlines. So attending classes, again, when you enroll in your classes, you have specific deadlines for the class. For example, you have like your assignments, the due dates for them, and then of course your tests and exams. And then something else to keep in mind is the college itself. We at Fresno City College, we have our own specific deadlines for your classes as well. So these things are things like last day to make payments for your classes, your fees, and then of course, last day to add or drop a class. So it's really important that you keep in mind of those dates. And if you like, you can definitely check out those important dates on this website listed up here. So fresnocitycollege.edu/info. And then, of course, another way of how we keep track with our students is through our Starfish Early Alert. So this is actually an early intervention program that we have with our counselors and instructors. It's a way for us to communicate with each other to definitely ensure like your success. So if ever you're struggling in a class, it's how we alert each other to inform us of what we need to do to help you during your time here. Some of you, when you started school with us or when you applied to us, you created a student educational plan. The one that you created with us is probably just an abbreviated one, meaning it's just like one semester of classes. So again, it's really important that you create your student educational plan, also known as your SEP, to stay on track here at Fresno City. Your student educational plan, again, it's basically a roadmap or a plan that you create with your pathway counselors to map out the necessary courses that you need to take in order for you to graduate with your certificate, your associate degree, or possibly transfer to the university or college that you plan to attend after you're completing with us. So definitely make sure that you check in with your pathway counselors to create one of those. And then of course, it's really beneficial for you to create your student educational plan as it does secure a registration date for you. So again, the earlier that you complete a student educational plan, the earlier you'll receive a registration date for your next semester. And for those of you who are part of special programs like Ideally, Puente, UCIA, EOPS, you probably might have to create the student educational plan with your counselors every semester. So definitely make sure that you double check with them in case you make any adjustments or anything. And then of course, if you decide to change your major or you decide to add another class or just need to update your plan in general, make sure that you do that as it does help you prepare for your educational goal. It's really important for you to also complete an SEPC, also known as your Comprehensive Student Educational Plan. And this one is going to map out like all of your classes. So definitely make sure that you get that completed at least your first semester here at Fresno City College. And again, you can do that with your pathway counselor. And some of you are probably wondering, what is a pathway? For those of you who already know, that's great. You know which pathway you're under. But for those of you who aren't too sure what pathway is, basically, if you are part of if you're enrolling in a major or you already declare your major, you are a part of a specific pathway already at Fresno City College. And these are our 5 different pathways that we have. And so I'm going to go ahead and play a quick video to explain furthermore on what it is. And then you'll also get the opportunity to meet with your pathways after this presentation. Do we have tech over here to help? Yeah, to get assistance to play the video. You can just skip it? Yeah. All right, I apologize for that. Again, your pathway, basically, it's where you are grouped in. So we have 5 different pathways. And so based on your major, you are part of that specific pathway. And so it's really important that you get involved and you are informed of which pathway you're under so that you'll basically get in touch with your professors, the counselors who are designated to helping you during your time here at Fresno City College. So again, I apologize for the video not playing. However, we also want to emphasize another thing to, keep you on track. So as long as you're attending college, you want to make sure that you are filling out your financial aid. You also have to fill out your financial aid every year that you go to college, right? So it's really important that you get that completed. And some of you may think, okay, so it's just completing the online application, whether it's the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act. However, it's really important that you are aware that if our financial aid office requires you to complete any additional documents, it is important that you go ahead and complete those required documents to ensure that your financial aid is completed. Those documents can be found on your student email. Like they will go ahead and email you telling you what required documents you need, or you can also find it on self-service. If on self-service it tells you what document it is, all you have to do is you can print it out and then submit it, or you can fill it out electronically and submit it electronically. Things to keep in mind that can affect your financial aid is keep in mind that 12 units is what's required for full-time status. So when you are enrolled in 12 units or more, you are awarded financial aid, you will most likely get 100% of your financial aid award. However, if you drop out of the 12 units, so you go down to 9 units, then your award goes down to 75% instead of the 100. So it's really important that you are aware of your unit load and how many you're enrolled in. And then keep in mind that being waitlisted or starting a class later on, for example, like in October, or short-term classes, you will not get funded until you are actually registered into a class. So if you have any questions regarding your financial aid, if you're not sure what it is, it could be one of those. And then of course, if you don't complete any of those documents, that would really jeopardize your financial aid package too. So you want to make sure that you're checking your student email regularly. Another thing to keep in mind is when you have your financial aid and you're awarded your financial aid, you want to make sure that you are at the satisfactory academic progress level, also known as the SAP. In order for you to be at this level, you want to make sure that your GPA is above a 2.0 and that you successfully complete 67% of your units that you are enrolled in. And then also make sure that for your financial aid, you're submitting the correct one. Again, there's two kinds. There's the FAFSA and then there's the California DREAM Act. You don't submit both, you only do one of them. So it's really important that you know which one you're doing and that you fill out the correct one. Again, your financial aid application opens on October 1st, and then you have until the March 2nd deadline. So you have until then, all those months to complete your financial aid. So make sure that you do that as soon as possible. Now I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next presenter, Gladys Donso-Nofit, who's going to talk to you about Title IX, what it is, what it means, why it's important, and how she's here to help you.
Let's try not use this. Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Gladys Donso-Nofit. I am the Deputy Title IX Coordinator here at Fresno City College. So that just means I am the person you go to if there's any Title IX related issues or concerns. So today I'm just going to introduce myself and talk a little bit about what Title IX is and how you can get in contact with me. So Title IX says, no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. So I understand that's a lot of words to digest, but basically it's a law and it protects people like you and me, so employees, staff, faculty from sex and gender discrimination in educational programs and activities that receives federal funding. And so some areas that Title IX does cover is athletics, pregnancy-related conditions, sexual misconduct. So this one's a very big one for Title IX. So that deals with like sexual harassment, sexual assault, stalking, domestic violence, dating violence, and stuff like that. So it also covers reasonable accommodations. If we do provide reasonable accommodations, just depending on, it's a case-by-case basis. So how to report. So on the main Fresno City College website, if you go into the About section, there should be a Title IX tab, and that will link you to the Title IX webpage. And I believe on the side, there should be some tabs that says, what should I do and how to report. So if you click on that, it's gonna take you to where you can submit a complaint. So if you click on that yellow button that says FCC Title IX reporting form, it'll take you to that page where you can describe your incident or that experience that it has happened to you, and you'll be in contact shortly by me, or just depending, it might be also district. You can also file a complaint on the district website as well. I think it's the same procedure. They have their own Title IX webpage where you can submit that report. And so this slide is very important. So please take a picture of it if you can. So this is the contact information, my contact information, and also district's Title IX coordinator. His name is James Young, and he handles also Title IX related issues for all of district. So you can contact me or him if you have any questions or concerns about Title IX and what it is, or if, say, something happened and you're not sure if it meets Title IX, you can always feel free to email us or call us, and we can help you out there. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Thank you so much for having me. Wishing everyone a great fall semester. Thank you.
All right, thank you all for sitting through our presentation. I would like to thank all of our speakers for today's presentation. If we can give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. So let's talk about what's next. We are going to then, again, this concludes this part of today's RAM Ready. We are then going to move on to our campus tours, which I will be dismissing by pathway. So as we do that, if everybody can stay seated, and we will move through that as quickly as we can. All of our guests will stay in this room. So the only people that are leaving are by pathways as students for their campus tours. Once we finish campus tours, we're going to have our RAM pathway sessions. This is where you are going to meet your faculty members and counselors within your pathway. They're going to have a presentation for you as well. And then when we complete that, some of you may have some additional breakout sessions with majors. And we will then have our resource fair. And I want you to all know we have some swag bags for you, or some promotional items. So please stick around for our resource fair. In addition, there is some food vendors so that you can purchase some food out in the main fountain in our university mall. Also, we're going to be sending out a survey to everyone. If you can do us a favor and fill out that survey so we can get some feedback, and of course make this RAM Ready as best as we can make it each year. So for those of you on our virtual space, if you can bear with us, we're going to go ahead and go through all of our pathways. So we're going to get started. Like I said, if you are a guest, please stay seated. We're going to start with our ACL pathway. So if you are part of all arts, communication, and language, we have some representatives in the back. You're going to go ahead and go with that group. Arts, communication, and language pathway. Everyone else, please remain seated. Arts, communication, and language pathway. You're being dismissed right now. Please go to the back. Again, so we don't have too much chaos and everybody knows where they're going, please stay seated if you are not part of the ACL group. Arts, communication, and language. Again, if you are part of arts, communication, and language, you are dismissed for the tour portion. If you are guests, again, continue to stay seated, and I thank you all for your patience. For those of you on Zoom and YouTube, we will be with you shortly. All right, it looks like our ACL pathway has exited. Now we're going to move on to our business pathway with Lori Swain, our counselor. She has a sign back there. If students, you can get up and go ahead and head to the back with Lori Swain. Our business pathways, again, guests, if you remain seated, we do have a session for you. Thank you all for your patience. Okay, we have a next group, but we're breaking it out into 4 groups. There are some of you in the health and STEM pathway that did not get a little colored coded number. I'm going to help you at the end. For those of you that got a little post-it with the number, we're going to go through those numbers individually. Again, guests, if you can be patient with us, we'll be with you shortly. Those of you on Zoom and YouTube, we will be with you shortly. All right, it looks like business is done. We're going to start with Group 1 from Health and STEM. Group 1, you got a little post-it. That is Group 1. Number 1, if you are part of Health and STEM, and it's a blue sticky. Health Group 1. Also, again, we have the resource fair at the end. Don't forget the food vendors. We do have some free refreshments, some water and cookies, and your promotional bag before you leave. Just waiting for Group 1 to go ahead and get out to the front. Perfect. Now we are on to Group 2 of Health and STEM. So if you got a sticky, I believe that is a neon yellow sticky, number 2. Group 2, please exit the back. Group 2 of Health and STEM pathway. Group 2. Thank you all again for your patience. Okay, we are now moving on to Group 3. Group 3. And that sticky, I believe, is pink, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Group 3, pink sticky. Group 3 of Health and STEM. That's a Group 3 with Health and STEM. That's a pink sticky. All right, we are now on to Group 4. That's going to be a neon orange sticky. If you can go ahead and exit the back of the auditorium, someone will be there to guide you to your tour guides. Group 4, orange sticky. Okay, we have our last group. If you did not get a sticky, you're gonna go ahead and go out to the front. They're gonna assign you a group in the front. So if you didn't get a sticky, go ahead and go to the front. Those Post-its with the number, go ahead and exit to the front, and they will assign you to a group. Thank you again, family, friends, parents, for your patience. I talked to the presenters. I know that we're running a little bit late, and you probably need to use the restroom, so we're going to do a little 5-minute break so that you all can use the restroom. But let's just get these students into their places, and then we'll let you take a little 5-minute stretch break, 5-minute restroom break. Andrea, are we good for a restroom break? All right. So if you do need to use the restroom, on the left side, which is our east courtyard, is a women's restroom. On the right side, there is a men's restroom. That's the west courtyard. Go ahead and take a 5-minute break, stretch, and then we'll come right back, and we will have presenters. Your students will be in a tour, and they're also going to have some breakout sessions with their pathways, so we have plenty of time in here to do our presentations and give you that 5-minute restroom break. Again, women's restroom is on the left-hand side. That's going to be the east courtyard. When you walk down that hall on the right-hand side, the men's restroom is going to be on my right side, I should say my right-hand side, and that's going to be the west courtyard men's restroom. And we will be back shortly. looks like the majority of us are back or just starting to come back in. We'll go ahead and get started with our next session. Again, I want to thank you all for being here and being part of your loved ones' college experience. We really appreciate it. Support is always a good thing. So we want to also give you an opportunity to learn more about some of our resources that you can support your student as they are here at Fresno City College. So I'm going to introduce our next presenter. And that is going to be our Director of Admissions and Records, Myrna Duarte.
All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here to support your students. I'm going to give a very brief overview of FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. In short, FERPA protects the privacy of our student records. When your student was in high school, you may have been accustomed to maybe calling the school office, asking for your student's grades, their attendance, maybe even called their teachers. Teachers would have been glad to share their information on how well they're doing in class. Now that your student is in college, their information is protected by FERPA. So we are restricted from releasing any of their information to anyone other than the student. So this doesn't mean that this really means that you can still support your student by encouraging them to look up their information in self-service. They can log in, they can check their schedules, check their financial aid information, they can check their registration billing, and at the end of the semester, check their final grades. You also want to encourage them to utilize their office hours with their instructors. They can use those hours to have some one-on-one discussion and ask questions with the instructor. That information for office hours will be shared with your student at the beginning of class on their syllabus. Next slide. Or do I have that here? I don't think we got both of my slides there. All right. So you want to use this opportunity to encourage your student to know how to find and utilize the many, many resources that our college offers. Again, talking to their instructors, utilizing their office hours, tutorial services, any of those services. It's a good opportunity for you to encourage that path for your student to start on that path of doing things on their own. And if your students still would like for you to have information and access to their records, we do have the FERPA form that you can submit to Admissions and Records, or your student will submit to Admissions and Records, either in person or by email. With this form, the student is giving release of academic and financial aid information. However, this does not release information for in-class progress. So your student is still going to need to make sure that they're following up, communicating with their instructor, and again, utilize those office hours for that one-on-one discussion. Finally, for more information on how to reach Admissions and Records or to find that FERPA form, you can look on our website at fresnocitycollege.edu/AR. Thank you.
Thank you again, Myrna. Our next presenter is with Financial Aid, Leslie Farrell, and she is our Financial Aid Assistant.
Good morning and welcome. I am normally located in the Financial Aid Computer Lab, and that is in the east wing of the library. Our room number is LI-123. If your student needs to complete financial aid applications, I am the one that would come in, you'd come in there and see our staff members in our office, in our computer lab, and you will, we can assist them filling out the applications. If they need to print any documents, they can print them there for free. We don't charge for printing. If they need to do a scholarship application, that's another one that's available for them to do in there. If the student is a foster youth and they need to do their Chaffee application, that's another application that can be conducted in there. We do have some very brief videos. I'm going to attempt to play them. It's just a brief overview of what financial aid is for you guys to understand. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. Anyway. You think you can do it? Maybe not. And it's okay. We have some, I'll just tell you where they are. When you go into the website for Fresno City College, there are, you go into the financial aid section, and as you review our page, there's places in there that you can look at little videos, and they're really short, like 30-second, 1-minute videos that helps explain financial aid. They go over what the FAFSA is for, what it can be used for, how to, it discusses their EFC, which is expected family contribution. Mostly the really important part for you as a parent is helping the student to get their application completed. Once they start their application, you want to make sure that if they are selected for verification, that their documents are turned in a timely manner. We do have a new procedure this year. It's called dynamic forms. So when the student is sent their email to their school email, not their personal email, it will let them know that they are selected for verification, what documents are needed. They're able to download them, they're able to fill them out online, hit the submit, and it goes through a process where it submits them automatically for them. If you as a parent needs to sign anything, once the student submits their portion and they put your email in, it sends it to your email. You have to fill out your portion, sign it, and submit it, and then it gets sent to our office. I know a lot of times people or students and parents will say, well, I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm independent, I don't need my parents. As long as the student still is required according to Department of Ed's dependent requirements, if they're under the age of 24, they're not married, they don't have children that they support more than 50% of the time, they were not in a legal guardianship, they were not in foster care, both parents are not deceased, and they are not in the military, they're going to be considered dependent, and they will need your information until they hit one of those markers. So that's why it's important to help them get that done. By not giving them your information, it keeps them from being able to finish out their application, it keeps them from getting their possible funding for school. There's different grants and things that can come along when they do the FAFSA application. They can possibly be eligible for the Promise Grant, which helps cover the cost of the classes. It can possibly be eligible for the Pell Grant, which is additional assistance for books and supplies. There's the Cal Grant, which is state funded. That's additional funding for students. And if the student has children under the age of 18, there was funding last year for those students. I'm not for sure if they're continuing that funding this year or not. But they have a student success grant, so anybody that has eligible for Cal Grant and has 12 units or more is eligible for additional funding as well. There's also a grant that's called an SCOG, that's part of the federal portion of it. So, and that's given on a more specific requirement because those funds are very limited. So the tax year that they would need to use to report their information is going to be 2 years prior to the application date. So right now we're in the 22-23 application year, so you would need to submit your 2020 taxes. Several years ago, it used to be if you had a 22-23, you would need your 21 taxes, but most people don't have their taxes even available to them until the end of January, so Department of Ed pushed it to October, and pushed the requirement for the taxes out a full year. So now instead of the student having 18 months to do their application, they now have 21 months to do their application. That's why it's important to get it done as soon as possible. The application opens up October 1st. It does close technically at March 2nd. That's so that Cal Grant can do their calculations. A student can still do it after March 2nd. They just may not be eligible for additional funding. If you find that with your tax information and the student gets their information back and we have to tell them your EFC or your expected family contribution is too high, you're not eligible for any funding, that's generally because maybe mom and or dad, and if student works too, their income is too high to be eligible for funding. And that's okay. However, if from the time that you submitted the taxes that are required for the application to now, if a person's income has dropped dramatically, there's a possibility that you could do what's called a special circumstance. And that's where you would gather all the information for your income for 2020, 2021, and everything from January of 22 to now, so that the office can reevaluate and see where you stand financially. If they're able to adjust it and correct it and help your student out, they most definitely will. It helps them to then possibly be eligible for the fee waiver and or additional funding. Just remind your students to periodically check their financial aid emails. We send the emails to their most current email address, and it's supposed to be their student email. Students sometimes forget to check because they're in school and they're just concentrating on school, which is great. But sometimes we send additional emails throughout the school year reminding them of different things. Hey, you haven't completed your application yet. You haven't started it yet. You need to complete your documents. You're going to receive a disbursement. We do let the student know when they're going to receive a disbursement. One of the things that can keep us from having access to your student's file is if the student, when they registered, didn't give admissions and records their social security number, we cannot download their information from the FAFSA application. That's the connection between the two, is the social. If they have given us the social and maybe it's one digit wrong, that will keep us from being able to download the application. So if the student's saying, oh, I did it, have them check with us so we can see if 1, we have their social, 2, we have the correct social, or 3, did your student put the correct federal school code on their application? That's the other factor that will keep us from having access to their information. Generally, once they submit, they'll get an email 3 days later say it's been submitted and processed. Then it takes us another week to receive it, process it, and then let the student know what their funding is for. Keep in mind, like Myrna was saying, with the FERPA release, if you call the office and want information on your student's file, we cannot release any pertinent personal information to you unless the student has signed the FERPA release. Even though your student may be 17 years old, once they've registered here, they are considered an adult, and we cannot release it to you. If you come in with your student, absolutely, we can give it to you right then and there. If you want to do a conference call or a three-way call, and the student is still on the phone and the student is asking the questions, yes, you can ask questions to go along with them, but they have to be in that setting, whether on the phone or in person, in order for us to release the information to you. If the student wants you to have it on a regular basis, that's where the FERPA release would come into it, and you can either fill it out and submit it to admissions and records, or you can actually submit it to the financial aid office, and then we then in turn process it, and then admissions and records has access to it as well. I think that might just be about it. Let's see what else we have. Our contact hours. Now that we're back on campus full-time, we are in the main office, which is located upstairs of the Student Services Building. We are there 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday and 8 to 1 on Friday. For the first week of school, we will have extended hours. They will be open at 7 in the morning and at 6 in the evening. And on Friday, that first Friday, they will be open till 5. The following week, they just revert back to their regular hours. They will be posted, so they should be able to see them on the homepage of the Fresno City website. For the computer lab, our computer lab hours now are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. We do have to close at 12 for lunch because of coverage, and then we are open 8 to 1 on Fridays. And again, your student is more than welcome to come in at any time if they need to ask questions, fill out documents, print documents, do an application for their scholarship application. That's the other application that will open up in October, closes March 2nd, and then that one will be for next school year that starts in August of 23. And that's very important because if a student isn't eligible for financial aid on the FAFSA or through the DREAM Act or any other courses, then the scholarship application gives them a potential ability to be eligible for funding that way. And we have some very excellent donors in our community that want to see our students succeed very much. So there's a lot of potential out there. It's one application that spans all of the donors that we have. It pre-selects as to which category they fit into, and then we get their information, and then we go from there. And there's a committee that actually selects, either the donor selects, or we have a committee that goes through the process of reading and reviewing and making sure that the student fits the requirements of that particular scholarship. We also have a chat bot on our webpage, to where if a student can't get through our phone line, which this time of year it's super busy, I will not lie, we have an email account that they can send questions to. It's financial aid office at fresnocitycollege.edu. They can submit their questions there. If they do, they really need to make sure that they use their school email. Please have them put their name, their student ID number, and their phone number. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of back and forth of me asking them, please submit your student email account so I know it's you. Please give me your name, please give me your student ID number, and please give me your phone number. Because there's times that a simple call back can answer their questions, or it will go through email. If they don't give me that information up front, and I say me because I answer the majority of them, it's a lot of back and forth of, I need your ID number. I want to confirm I'm speaking to the right student. I don't want to give your student information that belongs to this student over here and thinking I've done my job. And that's not fair to your student, and it's not fair to this student to accidentally give them, oh yeah, you're fine, your account's cleared, and they're not. You know, you still have paperwork to do. But you can, on the chat box that they have, they can ask questions right then and there and get a response right then and there. There's selected hours, they're generally from 10 to 1 that they do it, but they're more than welcome to either come into the office, the main office, or come into the computer lab and go from there. And I think that concludes my portion. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie, for that presentation. Our next speaker is going to be Paul Torres, our coordinator for RAM Pantry.
All right. I'm going to introduce Zach. Zach, come on down. As Nick said, my name is Paul Torres. I work here in our RAM Pantry. Very simple concept to understand. We have a nice pantry on our campus. It's right next to our bookstore. I'm going to show you guys our crew real quick. It's open to any student that is on campus. They don't even have to have their student ID. It's helpful if they have their card, but all they have to basically do is show up. They give us their student ID number, and then it's it. They have free food assistance on the campus. So Zach is one of our student workers. Say hi, wave to Zach. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. He has some snacks that we're gonna give out today, and these are some of the items that we get at the pantry. We get a lot of good stuff, y'all. We get some Girl Scout cookies, donated some cookies just recently. We have a lot of great partnerships in the community. Bonds, Central Valley Food Bank, Coca-Cola. We'll make some Costco runs sometimes. But the food and the snacks are available for your students. And again, whenever we're open, they're able to come in. Our hours vary throughout the week, but typically they're 9 to 4. I don't know if you guys see this QR code, if it's big enough for you guys to load up, but that's our website. If you guys want to kind of screen in on your phones, Just lock it in, share it with your students. So time to give out some stuff. I know when I came to college, I sat way in the back row. So I'm gonna give this gentleman over here in the Raider shirt a choice of snacks. Zach, give him a snack, buddy, give him a snack. And then my friend over there who's wearing a San Francisco shirt, she gets one just because that's my team, you know what I'm saying? And then raise your hand if you actually came to Fresno City College. Raise your hand. Okay, Zach, quickly, buddy, get out there, give them their snacks out there. Just throw them out, roll it around. I'll end with this. I was on campus just yesterday, and the day was long. Cafeteria closed a little early. I was hungry, so I go out to my car. I checked for my car keys. I left them in my office. I'm like, dang it, I don't want to go back all the way to my office because it's like 110 degrees. It's just hot. I was getting cranky, and then I thought, oh, I have some snacks in the food pantry. Let me just go see what I can find. I found a little salami pack with some bread and had that, and I was good to go. It was just like basically gave me some more energy. So we want that for your children as well. There's long days sometimes they're on bus schedules, sometimes they're waiting for rides. Just let them know we're available. We're here to help you guys as students. They can come to the pantry anytime. And then just like Zach, we are hiring for student employees. So if your kid needs a job, they need to contribute to the cable bill or whatever you guys have these days, let them know we're hiring. They can come visit us. We're right next to the bookstore. Another great, they can find a job on campus. If they're financially eligible, even better. They can find a job. All our departments are looking for student employees. I was a student employee. It helped me tremendously. It was one of the best decisions that I made to keep me connected to basically the campus. So we're all here to help. That's the best thing about Fresno City College. We want to make sure your student succeeds. So come visit. Again, we're right next to the bookstore. We're the RAM Pantry. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Paul. I wish I had the RAM Pantry when I was in school. That would have been really nice. But yes, we do offer that for students, and Paul's right. We have plenty of jobs on campus. If your student is interested in jobs, please have them reach out to any of the departments here on campus. We definitely have positions for our students. Next, I would like to introduce our social work support services. We have MSW Renee Clift.
Fresno City College students have a lot of responsibilities, oftentimes far beyond their academic success. And sometimes these responsibilities introduce challenges in their lives that overwhelm their ability to function well and certainly to complete their coursework or have success in their academic goals. And so one of the services that we in the Social Sciences Division offer is supportive counseling. Let me see if I can move this forward. That it? Okay, good. It worked. So we have 2 students from California State University in Fresno and in Long Beach who are studying for their master's in social work degree. And we provide supportive guidance for them. Myself and another faculty member, we supervise them. And they are available to meet with students who are challenged to complete their coursework or their academic goals because of life circumstances. They can meet with them either online or face-to-face on campus. And some of the challenges that students oftentimes encounter include challenges with housing stability, food stability, clothing, access, maybe some financial insecurity. There might be childcare needs that they have, transportation challenges, They might be having difficulty adjusting to the transition to school, whether that's full-time or part-time, or other kinds of adjustments or transitions in their lives. Maybe there's a change in what's going on in the family. Maybe there's some changes in their housing, whatever, financial challenges. Also, relationship challenges, either within the family or maybe with a significant other. Oftentimes we have students who are grieving many kinds of losses, whether that's a death in the family, once again, some kind of a life transition, some change in their perception of who they are, making decisions in life. Coming to school was a huge transition, a huge decision, but what goes beyond that? What am I going to do for my career? How do I decide what priorities to have in life now that I have all these academic responsibilities? And then managing their time, assistance with study skills. And then one of the things that our MSW counselors do is they not only sit down and talk with the student in order to determine exactly what the challenge is and what the source of that challenge is, but also we provide referrals to services on campus or within the community. So in essence, if a student is challenged to complete their coursework or any challenges that address their long-term success at City College, we invite the student to come and speak with a Master's in Social Work counselor here on campus. The MSWs are available to meet with students either face-to-face or online. This semester, they're going to be available to meet with students Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 for the most part. Their names this year, the MSW's names are Tanya Moore and Donna Lutz. And unfortunately, at this time, their email and their phone numbers have not been set up. There are some delays with that from administration. But if a student wants to self-refer, which is what we prefer, the student can call 442-8210, which is the Social Sciences Division phone number, and they can ask for the contact information for one of the MSW counselors. We will be advertising the contact information for the counselors when they get that information provided to them. Let's see, there was one other thing I wanted. Oh, another thing a student can do in order to connect with one of the MSW counselors is speak to their instructor. Instructors can also refer students, but because in social work we have a real strong motivation toward self-empowerment for people, and we really prefer that students refer themselves, but there's always the opportunity to speak with an instructor. The other reason I'm hesitant to encourage students to talk to instructors, not that that isn't okay, that's certainly an option, is because we also are very strong in promoting confidentiality. And sometimes students just aren't comfortable sharing what's going on in their lives with their instructors, even if it's affecting the coursework in that particular class. We absolutely respect that. And so once again, the preference is self-referral. But just to emphasize that, anything that's discussed between the student and the MSW counselor is strictly confidential unless it meets the mandates for reporting on the part of the MSW counselor, and those are the student threatening to harm him or herself or somebody else, or any threats or actuality of abuse, neglect, or exploitation of a child, a dependent adult, or an elder. Those are the only kinds of information that would ever be reported to authorities. But everything else that is shared between the MSW counselor and the student is completely confidential. Let me put another asterisk there, just to emphasize that the MSW counselor does get supervision from myself and another full-time faculty member. So the MSW counselor will be oftentimes sharing the student's information with us so that we can provide supportive direction to the MSW counselor, but confidentiality is very important to us, okay? So 442-8210, if a student wants to get in contact with one of the MSW counselors, and then we will be advertising their email addresses and phone contact. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our session with our different presenters for our family members. So now what we're going to do is, I believe at 11 a.m. we have our resource fair out in the University Mall. From this point forward, you're free to kind of just wait in the front, waiting for the students to come back. If you want to stay seated here for a little while, at 11 a.m. we'll be starting our next session. So you're welcome to sit here for a little bit. It's cooler in here, but again, at 11 a.m. we'll be starting our next session, and then probably 10 minutes before that starts, we'll be asking everybody to head out to the resource fair. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for supporting your students, and we appreciate your presence here today.